Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to day 23 of NaNoWriMo. And as always, that marks the episode number for Prisma Arena, the animated series. We're on day 23, season 4, episode 2. And yesterday we ended on a bit of a cliffhanger. Our heroes were able to kind of strike a deal with gotta get the names again, but Mjora, who had been trying to capture one of the Prisma Children that was in the Prisma Academy. And they made a deal to kind of work with her, and they infiltrated the bringers of despair, their laboratory, in an attempt to rescue the children in exchange for helping Mjora to kind of unlock her Prisma powers. It all went a little bit, so they managed to get in, but I think their plan was revealed, and so the scientist, I don't know if we gave him a name, the chief scientist in the laboratory triggered the kind of safety protocol, and the building started to flood. And they eventually our heroes were trying to escape or get to the control room where they could shut it down, and they've now found themselves trapped in there as the place is flooding. So that's how we open the episode, and the children were actually taken away, and they're being escorted by the Shruma, which are kind of like anthropomorphic mushroom creatures, I guess, and some bringers. So they were being escorted away from the laboratory, and our heroes need to kind of get to them and rescue them so that they are not being studied by the bringers. So I think we're going to jump in. I've set up the table and open it with someone being captured. And in this case, again, I'm going to use a word that's going to reference the heroes, and I may need some jiggling with this kind of second tile, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to roll, but I may just kind of turn the cubes around to set up this first scene more effectively. So, yeah. So I guess I will use this to indicate the kind of control room. So in the control room, and it's effectively so it does need to be some living thing. So I'm going to say it is the kind of scientists. So I'm going to just cheat this a little and find an icon I can use for that. So you're going to use this to represent. So the scientist has trapped the heroes in the room, and it's filling with water. So I think when it ended, we had tried to shut it down and it hadn't worked. So I think we're going to look around to see if there's any kind of form of escape, alternative form of escape that we can use, or some ideas. And in the room are our heroes, and I think Mjora is still with us as well. Okay, I think I'm going to keep it quite simple. I think there is the equivalent of like a kind of fire extinguisher that we're going to use. I think Jasan just grabs it and picks up and starts like hammering the controls in the hope that it will kind of stop the the flooding. I think he's kind of the more impetuous one. Okay, so let's see what we get. Okay, it doesn't work. Well, it doesn't stop the flooding because that's what I wanted. But I think so. It doesn't stop the flooding. So someone is kind of, yes, hurt or not. So, oh yeah, so I'm going to use it where it's actually damaged, right? So it hasn't fully stopped it, but I think it's having some effect. So it is damaged in some way. So that's a token for that, and I need to take my question token for that there. So they're hammering away. I think the others are looking around for an option, and I think they're trying the door to see if there's a way out. They really need to shut it down, though. I think I think Vika actually is going to try and kind of, because he's got extensive knowledge. I think he's going to try and log into the system and try and do it through the kind of code. So he kind of like asks Jason to step aside. Okay, and he managed to succeed it. He managed to succeed, and I think as the water begins to kind of drain back out, let's see, as the water begins to drain back out, I think we're able to open the door and we're able to catch up with the scientist who was kind of wading through the water and trying to flee the building. So yeah, I think we catch up with them. So I think we're going to try and secure the scientist. So I think Eleanor is going to try and again kind of stun them with her Prisma. Okay, so she wants to hit them, but I think the scientist basically so he's kind of stunned and he falls to the ground, and as we approach him, he says, if any harm comes to me, the children will be lost to despair. I can promise you that. So I think we ask him, where are the children being taken? Taking 3 actions. Where are the children being taken? And I think we got to give him a name, actually. So I think this is going to be Dr. Valnor. So I think it's a chief scientist with despair. So where are they taking there? And I said, well, the Shruma are, I think they're bringing them to the top of the mountain, to the fall, where they will be extracted to a new location. So I think we got to get to the top of the mountain. Okay, so I think we're going to try and contact Omax and let them know what's going on, so that they can we alert them to what's going on, so that they can meet us there. Okay, I don't think we're able to get through to them, but I think they have been. They've been tackling some of the other bringers that are here in the laboratory, and have been able to kind of hold off the wave of attacks from them. Okay, so I think one more question. No, I think we just got to get up here. So I think. So what do we learn? So we've captured them. We've learned that the Truma and the bringers are taking the children up to the top of the fall, so that they can be extracted. So I was kind of half hoping this one would come up. So it turns out that we have an evil ally. So I think someone is going to help us. Someone who was an enemy in the past is going to turn out to be helpful. Well, appear to be helpful. I think it's a new cube. Someone who was previously kind of against us. So it could be Karnu, who's the streamer. And I'm looking at the symbols here to see what would work. So just checking through the notes here to see what else is going on here. The Shruma weren't ever kind of, I think, an actual threat, but we have an evil ally. So it could be so he was arrested, I think. I think Arias Dinar, from one of the early episodes, he was already kind of arrested. We have the head of the Merchant Guild, who's been arrested. We had Zakan, the Cyclor, and Leon Bertha. I don't think they would be relevant now. We have Jolan and Polan, actually, who are the explorers. Ooh. We have Urza the Bazee, who's a friend of ours. We have the reporter, Eon, who's a traveling journalist. Don't think that kind of fits. We have Falloon. We have the Ravonas. We have the Water Boys, I think. We have Scar from the Merchants Guild. So, who am I thinking? I think I'm going to say this is really strange and not where I was expecting this to go at all. But I think, I mean, I could make up another evil ally as well. But I think we have enough bad guys in here at the moment. So I think I'm going to use this to indicate. Oh, he died. Quillen died. I think it's going to be a new evil ally. I think it's an engineer. So I'm just going to say, yeah, I think someone steps forward and says, so they clearly work here in the laboratory, and they say, follow me. I'll show you the way up, the quickest way up to the cliff top. And they're an engineer with at the laboratory. So I think the first thing we got to ask is, why are you helping us? Then why should we trust you? And they say, I think he's, so I'm going to give them a name, and that is engineer Oboko. So I'm just going to say despair and Wailing Fall. I think they say, I've seen the experiments that they're doing here, and they risk essentially kind of tearing our reality asunder. And yeah, so why are you helping me? And I think it's time for I realize that it's time for despair to pass and a new era to begin. So okay, so we asked them, can you tell us what the plans are? Like, what's pushing things so far? Okay, I think they're working. So I think the scientists are working on something to extract, essentially drain all the prisma from the land, and in doing so, turn it into a wasteland. So they're working on a, I think like it's a kind of a big installation. That's what they're kind of using the children for. They're going to extract all the prisma, and they're testing it on the children, this process. And if they can do it, they'll actually like suck it out of the whole land and drain the whole land of hope. And basically then it will be a kind of a wasteland where there will only be despair. There won't even be a glimmer of hope. So the last kind of glimmer of hope will be wiped out. So what can we do to stop them? Ooh. So I think I'm gonna bring this up big actually. No, that's wrong one. That one there. So I think Oboko turns and points to Endura and says, "Why don't you ask her?" They've been involved in capturing the children, and it. So we turn to her and say, "Endura, do you know about this?" And I think she kind of looks quite unsettled. And we ask her, like, where is it? You have to tell us. And she says it is in the, I think we're going to call it the Spiral Marshes. Deep in the Spiral Marshes, they've been building it. So location will be the Spiral Marshes. And the thread is the kind of followers of despair are essentially building a doomsday device. Okay. Whew. So I got to figure out between helping the children and dealing with this one. So let's roll the story cubes and see what happens. So I think we got to rescue the children first. And we, with the help of the engineer, with Oboko, we race to the top of the cliff face, where under the night sky we are I don't know whether she's gonna turn again on us or not. I think let's say so as we're kind of sneaking up, we kind of climb up to the cliff top, and we're kind of trying to maneuver into position. It's nighttime. There's no fire lit. This is kind of bring us to despair. The children are sitting around in the cold. They're huddled together. The Shruma kind of have like blankets over them, and they're kind of sitting huddled as well, kind of watching. And as we're watching this, we hear people say freeze, and I'm gonna say it's kind of guards who are on watch. They've managed to sneak up behind us, and they're not bringers. I think they're the guards who had what we call the kind of cattle prods. So no, they were actually from the Infinity Coalition. I think they are I'm going to say they're kind of actually around our age. So they're kind of young recruits of Despair. And they, again, they have the kind of essentially blasters or gauntlets mounted on their fists that act as kind of channelers for their Despair. And they, yeah, basically tell us to freeze. I think so we've got 2 questions and 4 actions. So I'm trying to think. Our heroes kind of turn to see these characters saying freeze. And I think the first thing Eleanor's going to basically try and reach in and grab one of her kind of, I think, one of the smoke balls that she has to try and blind them. Maybe a flash one, because she's got all these different ones. So I'm going to say it's kind of like a flash one. Okay, so she manages to throw it. But I think some of the other guards have been alerted and the Shruma. So they all kind of like stand up and they all stand to alert, and the Shruma start kind of like making kind of sounds that we can't quite understand. And they start hurting the children and navigating around them. And I think we are Jasan is going to try again to contact the Omax and the other guardians to see to kind of alert them to their position. Maybe we couldn't get the signal out when we were in the I guess the stronghold that was in behind the waterfall. So we're going to try again to contact them and call them for support. Okay, so we do. So I think if you imagine we're standing, there's the kind of guards have fallen to the ground. The Shroom have standed up, and the other bringers of despair have stood up, and they're approaching us. And from behind them, up over the cliff, over the lip of the cliff, the guardians all hover up. They do have kind of like jump packs, and they tell all the guards to freeze. And I think they very quickly, kind of a fight ensues, and they're able to essentially disarm them, I think. Okay. So, I think we want to check children. Well, so that's the bringers. I think then we need to I'm going to see how the Shruma reacting to all of this. I think they I think while this is all going on, they start leading the children higher into the mountains. So I'm just going to show those symbols there. So yeah, I think they start hurting the children further in. And I think, so I have a thought of what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and so I think the moment it turns to Vika. So Vika, do you speak Shruma? So I'm going to try where Vika is going to attempt. So I'm going to see if he can speak Shruma and essentially tell them that we try and communicate with them. He said, no. It's not a language that I learned. So I think Demona actually is going to run forward. So she's going to chase after them and pull up a hologram of her parents, because it's like just sheer chance. Her parents were last seen talking to some Shruma, and I think she's going to see if they know anything about this. And I guess it's that unfortunate thing of they look the same to her. So she's going to run up and show them this. Like she's yelling, wait, 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 and shows the hologram, projects it. So they respond, but I think they respond. They clearly recognize her parents, and but they kind of start to shuffle, and they're kind of, I think, really uncomfortable and want to. They kind of turn to go. They're just like, they kind of nod and then turn and start kind of walking away again. So she got an answer, but not kind of really what she wanted. So we're still gonna get the children though. So I think we got to track. Well, so let's kind of pause it. So at that point, they kind of turn to walk away again when. Okay, so the ones we had knocked out originally. They have a dark agenda. So I'm gonna. So I think they come back and. What are they in? I think they have another evil agenda, a dark agenda that they're working towards. So whilst they were trying to capture the heroes, they are now. I think I'm going to keep it simple. I think they're going to try and recapture I think they're going to try and recapture the children by do that. Or, so while they're doing this, they're ultimately up to something else. I'm trying to think aloud here. I'm looking at the kind of essentially destroy something, capture or rescue something. Well, I think actually. I think they come after the heroes. Because we're kind of, I guess, strong in Prisma. So I think they use this kind of distraction as an opportunity. As we're trying to communicate with the Shruma, there's this kind of like flash of light as an aircraft flies up from amongst the trees and starts, I think, starts firing at the ground and scattering everyone. And it's basically trying to create a clearing around us. So I think they kind of destroy, where we are. They kind of blast some rocks that cut us off from catching up with the children. And also it causes, I think, some of the kind of cliff to collapse, and we're blocked off from the Guardians as well. So I'm going to say that's their agenda, is to kind of capture us directly. So there we go. Is there any way out of here? What might we get out of here? I think we're just going to have to clear the rubble. Would be the way. Okay, so I'm going to jump ahead to the final scene, the showdown. So we're kind of trapped behind the rubble, and I think they're coming down to kind of capture us. So I think our location is right where we are, where the rubble is, and I think we kind of start tearing away at the rubble when we tear away at the rubble. Because we're going to say that these kind of young bringers are after us. So they're pursuing us. So I think we've been shut off in one direction, and we see another entryway that leads us kind of off into the mountains. So I think we're going to try and maneuver so we can get back into, I think, try and flee from them, but try to catch back up with the Shruma. So we're going to try and run deeper into the kind of up the hillsides and in amongst the trees to try and avoid and elude the bringers. Okay, so we're able to do it, but I think we hear them kind of calling out and saying that do we say that? Or I think it's actually Endura. She's still with us and says, like, this is a complete joke. We're not going to outrun them. We need to stand and fight, or we need to, like, be smarter than just running away. We ask her, what does she recommend? I'm just going to see what comes up here. I think she says, I will set a trap. So I'm going to use this. Or she's kind of like, I've got a box of tricks. So I think we watch as Endura like kind of pulls out some kind of wire from her pouch, and is kind of like pulling down kind of branches and kind of maneuvers a rock into place, and she's forming like a kind of a makeshift trap, and we're kind of quickly grabbing, I think, rocks and boulders to add to this. So I think as we approach, she's going to try and set off the trap to capture or block the bringers who are following us. So I think it goes off too soon and captures Demona off guard, and she is caught underneath the rocks, and we have to try and rescue her instead. So we try to pull her out as quickly as we can. Okay, so we managed to pull her free, but the others are getting closer. And as we're doing that, I think we hear the sounds of so I'm trying to think if there's anything else I would carry forward to this engineer. So I think I'm the scientist. Yeah, so I think the scientist kind of arrives with the bringers. They've alerted the scientists to our whereabouts and saying, we have them cornered, and we can hear them getting closer. We're kind of trapped in the mountains. I think we need to do we need to call for backup to get out of here? I think there's something I want to have happen, and I don't know how to make it happen in the story. So, okay, we're going to just what have we got? So I'm just looking through all of their kind of abilities and things. Not really. I don't think they have anything that can immediately help them now. So they're kind of cornered. They need to get out of here. And I think they're going to just try and search for some kind of hidden hole or exit that they can get through to get away from here. So they kind of search. So they find it, but they so it's going to get worse for them. I think Jasan says, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to run away from this fight. And his anger starts to flare because we've seen this kind of happen before. He says, I'm fed up running. And we see his prisma begin to kind of build up, as well as the kind of bringers of despair and the Dr. Valnor kind of get through the rubble and approach our heroes. Jasan begins to kind of glow with prisma, and I think Vika just smacks And catches him by surprise, and the whole thing just kind of like dissipates. And so Fika says sorry and hits him, and that it kind of immediately dissipates. And I think he just kind of picks him up and starts to run back through this opening. Okay, so they manage to flee through the opening that they have found, and I think they are going to try and head towards and catch up with the. So they're going to lose them in the forest and try and catch up with the Shruma and get back on track with them, and hopefully with the help of Endura, they'll be able to do that. No, but so they're not able to do it, but I think they get an incoming message, and it's the engineer. It's Oboko, and he says, "It seems like you might need some help. I will. I'm sending you coordinates," and he kind of punches them in. And we see on the kind of holographic projector that we can see the children being tracked, moving through the mountains. So we have something to head towards. And I think, yeah, the episode ends with all our heroes kind of looking at the coordinates, turning to each other and saying, "Let's go." And they all race off into the forest after the children. So that's it. That's the end of the episode 23 of Prisma Arena, the animated series. I will look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for the next episode. If you like the game, actually, Prisma Arena goes on sale tomorrow, the 24th. So you can pre-order it from our website or from your local retailer. And you can catch up on all the previous episodes on We Are Hub Games. It's great to see you all, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for the next episode.